Hi there, I'm Charlie, your online business manager and WordPress expert. Welcome to my first video in my ISP config series. ISP config is a hosting administration system which is similar to cPanel without all the bells and whistles. In this video, what I'm going to go through is using ISP config as the end user, not the overall super administrator for the system, just as the user, and how to add a website to your hosting panel so that you can get up and running. So let's get started. When you log into ISP config, this is the screen that you will see. You will be given a username and password to log in. Once you do, this is the screen you will see. It is basically the same screen that your super administrator sees. It's just that you only see the clients and the websites associated with you. To add a new website to your server, what you need to do is go to the Sites tab, click on Sites, and you'll see that the side menu changes. We've got a whole heap of things here. But before any of these mean anything to us, we need to add a new website. So click on Add a New Website. This panel is shown, which it's asking you to enter the domain that the website will run on. And when you get down to it, it says, what's the IP address? Just leave the IP address as star because it will pick up the default IP address in the config file. You don't need to do anything. If you're running IP version 6 addresses, you'll be able to set that as well. We don't run IP version 6, we only run IP version 4 addresses. The next thing that you're going to be asked to enter is your domain. So in this case, I'm going to enter, I'm just going to enter charliethewire.com. You can set up the quota that this site takes in terms of disk space and how much traffic it will get before it stops displaying the site. Disk space, of course, is how many files you can upload before the disk is full or before the account runs out of a quota. I leave them as -1, which is unlimited, which means whatever traffic the web server allows you to have, that's what you can use. The hard disk quota, that will be as much quota as your account is allowed to use. Your account as the client for this login. Auto subdomain is, do you want to add www as standard to it, or sorry, do you want to have the www subdomain created? Leave that as yes, absolutely. You've got the option of www or none. PHP, because most of you will want to run WordPress, go down to PHP FPM and enable that. You have a couple of choices. It currently runs on 7.4. You can say PHP 8.1. With the later versions of PHP, you do need to make sure that your plugins and your WordPress and all of the things that you're going to install will actually run on the latest version. I know for a fact it does, so I'm going to leave it there. And we want it to be active. Under redirect, okay, so now that we've done that, it's actually gone off and it's up here. This little one tells us that it's writing these details to our database and to the hard drive so that we can get our website up and running. Under redirect, you don't need to worry about that, but if you were creating a site that you wanted to redirect elsewhere, this is where you would set that up. You do have access to statistics, which I will cover in a later video. And perhaps most importantly, you do have the ability that you can back up your website to your hosting space. It will take up disk space in your hosting space and give you some backup options. Now, it only saves it to the server. It doesn't save it off-site, so you do need to remember that. We're just going to wait for this to be created. It is created. There we go. It's gone. That little one has gone. And you'll see here that it gives you what your document root is. That's not important at this point in time. Okay, so now that you've created your website, the next thing that you're going to want to do is create databases and a database user for your WordPress to be installed on. To install a database, you head down to the database section under the Sites tab, choose Database User. It automatically picks up your client number, and I always put an underscore and name my database user, demo user. Set a password. Honestly, I use the generate password function, and then I copy that off and save it in a sticky note. That's being saved off on another screen there. It automatically puts the the password in there so that it says it does match. You can always just type over that and enter your own password if you want. Click save. And then go to databases. Now that you've created the user, you need to create the database. Select the site the database is associated with. Demo database. There we go. Choose the user that you've just created. That's all you need to do. Say save. And you'll see here it's creating the database and database user and writing that to the configuration file. Just need to wait for that to update. Okay, so that update's gone through. So now what we've done is we've created the website and we've created the database and database users. It really is that easy to do this. So to create an FTP user, under Sites again, come down to Web Access, FTP accounts, create. You just go back there and do that again. Add an FTP user. Choose the website that it can access. I'm going to put Charlie to Wire. It's got my username here. Test FTP user. Again, I'm just going to generate a random password. You can set again how much hard disk your FTP user can can use. I'm going to say save. Let that write to the hard drive, to the config again. And that's now written. I'm just going to go back into that FTP user and show you the options. So it will show you the directory that the user can access. This is really important because this will allow them to, that user to access the site you've just created to upload files if you need to do what you need it to do. And you can set an expire at, so the FTP user can actually be expired out. So then you might only want to give someone 24 hours access or a week's access, and you can expire them out. Okay, so that is how you add your websites to your server, how you add a database, and how you add an FTP account to your ISP config server. In my next lot of videos, I will go through some of the other features like adding emails and some of the other things you can do. But they're the 3 basic things that you will need to do on a web server on a recurring basis. Hope that's been helpful.